Chapter 31 I Want the One Watch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seriously? That's what the salespeople in the store were thinking, over $10 million for a watch. They almost burst out laughing. If you're gonna fake it till you make it, this isn't the way. Talk about embarrassing if he doesn't actually buy it. Out of billions of people, there's probably less than a handful who even own $1 million watch, and this kid's acting like he's too good for it. At that moment, nobody thought Gu Wenqing was really going to buy anything. They figured he was just trying to impress the cute girl. Even the middle-aged guy who actually bought a watch hung around, eager to see Gu Wenqing squirm his way out of this. Then, Gu Wenqing's eyes lit up. A watch inside the clear display caught his attention. He pointed and said, "Let me see that one." "Certainly, sir. This is a Vacheron Constantin P30630/S22G, 9899, with an 18K white gold case set with 228 baguette-cut diamonds in a secret setting," Yun Jing explained patiently. Even after showing Gu Wenqing watches for so long, she hadn't shown a hint of impatience, always gentle and helpful. The Vacheron Constantin P30630/S22G, 9899 radiated a mysterious and elegant aura from within its crystal case. "Can I try it on?" Gu Wenqing asked. "Of course, sir." With painstaking care, Yun Jing gently removed the watch from its case. She didn't dare risk an accident. Yun Jing started to put it on his wrist for him, but Gu Wenqing wasn't used to that. Instead, he took the watch. Not being as cautious as Yun Jing, he casually slapped the Vacheron Constantin on his wrist as if it were a cheap digital watch. He gave his arm a shake. Not bad. With its 228 baguette-cut diamonds, the watch's sheer value was obvious. Gu Wenqing nodded, satisfied. "I'll take it. Just swipe my card." Yun Jing was stunned. Just like that, he was buying it. "Sir, this Vacheron Constantin Malta P30630/S22G, 9899 is priced at $1,012,100, she said. Gu Wenqing didn't even flinch. "I know, I saw the tag. Hurry up and swipe my card, I need to get back to school." Boom. Wang Qin was thunderstruck. She still couldn't believe it. This college kid could actually afford $1 million watch. Wang Qin wasn't the only one. None of the salespeople believed Gu Wenqing could actually pull out that kind of money. The middle-aged man gave Gu Wenqing a suspicious look, too. Yun Jing walked to the register, her hands shaking, hoping Gu Wenqing really had the cash. At that moment, only Yuan, who knew the truth about Gu Wenqing, stared at him, dumbfounded. He just bought a $10 million watch. Not 100 grand, not $1 million, but a full 10 million. Yuan's eyes were wide with stars. Gu Wenqing bought a watch worth tens of millions without batting an eye. It was as casual as buying groceries. If she had 10 million, what would she buy? Yuan would definitely buy a house. She was sick of moving around. 10 million could buy a nice condo in the best part of Shanghai, and Gu Wenqing just drops it on a watch. It just felt wrong. When the receipt spat out of the machine, it meant the $1,012,100 had been successfully charged. Gasps echoed through the store. He actually did it, no way. It was unbelievable, especially for the salespeople who were used to seeing people buy watches worth $1 million. But today, after all those years, someone actually bought the multi-million-dollar watch, and they were blown away. The middle-aged man was shaken. He thought he was living the good life with his watch worth $1 million. But he was just a poser compared to that guy, a student buying $1 million watch. It was outrageous, but the one who regretted it most was Wang Qin. She was kicking herself. If she hadn't been so smug earlier, that sale would have been hers, over a $10 million watch, and that meant $50K in commission and bonuses. One bad move cost her $50K. She was crushed, completely defeated. On the other hand, Yun Jing was ecstatic. The customer she served had just bought $1 million watch, and she was getting $50K in commission, and that sale saved her job. She just made $50K straight out of college. She could hardly believe it. She pulled herself together and said, "Congratulations, sir, on your new watch. You're a promising young man." Hearing the flattery, Gu Wenqing said, "Great service. I'll look for you next time I'm buying a watch. Those words made Yun Jing's day. As Gu Wenqing walked out of the Vacheron Constantin store, he admired his new watch. You get what you pay for. The 228 baguette-cut diamond sparkled under the lights, so elegant. Yuan was still trying to process the $10 million purchase. With the watch bought, it was already after 7 p.m. I'm hungry, Yuan said, rubbing her stomach. Let's go then. I'll treat you to something delicious. Like what? Debong Western Restaurant. Gu Wenqing said with a smile. Buying the watch put him in a good mood. The two walked toward the restaurant. On the road, men kept staring at Yuan, which made her uncomfortable, so they picked up the pace. When they got there, Yuan saw a long line of people waiting and was disappointed. It looked like they weren't going to get a table, but then she saw Gu Wenqing smoothly walk to the front and get a table in a private room. Suddenly, there was a bang on a table. A bald man yelled, "Everyone's waiting in line, how can he just waltz in? Are you playing favorites?" After someone spoke up, other customers started complaining about Gu Wenqing cutting the line. A waiter calmly said, "Sir, please don't be angry, that's the owner of Debong. You don't have to worry, he has a private booth that's not open to the public." Hearing that, the bald man was embarrassed and scratched his head, saying, "Oh, okay then." Chapter 32 Yun Weiwei, Am I Short of This Money? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Yuan was about to follow Gu Wenqing inside, she overheard something. No wonder he was so eager to get in, even when there wasn't much space. Turns out, he's the actual owner of Debong Western Restaurant. That's seriously impressive. They quickly settled into their private dining room. Soon, a parade of exquisite French dishes graced the table: Marseille fish soup, foie gras steak, Parisian lobster, red wine pheasant, saffron chicken, chicken liver steak, and so on. Used to living paycheck to paycheck, how could she ever afford a meal in such a fancy restaurant? The sight of it all made the little streamer's mouth water. It was also Yuan's first time using a knife and fork, and she felt flustered and awkward. "Hey, you really remind me of my idol, Boy in White." Gu Wenqing finally removed his sunglasses and mask, letting Yuan get a good look at his face. "Really? How much?" Yuan pulled out a screenshot she'd worked hard to get from the video, finally capturing Boy in White's full face, and let's be real, she'd spent way too long admiring that picture. The eyes are similar. Same nose. And the mouth too. Yuan compared the picture to his face. Even the vibe is the same. It's like you were made in the same mold. So? Gu Wenqing prompted. So, you are Boy in White, aren't you? Wow. I can't believe I'm having dinner with my idol. Yuan's eyes sparkled around someone she liked. Yuan just couldn't stop herself. "Idol, can I get your autograph?" "Sure." "Idol, can we take a picture together?" Gu Wenqing replied, "Yeah. I want to hug my idol." "Alright, come here." Before he could finish, Anan had already flung herself into his arms, a total whirlwind, so nice. Holding Tong Yan's ample chest, Gu Wenqing thought shamelessly, "Anything else you want, I'm your man." "And no more, oh, oh." Yuan's knees felt weak, and she whispered, flustered. All good things must come to an end. The meal had brought them closer. After eating, Gu Wenqing drove Yuan home. Watching the maid outfit-clad Yuan head inside, Gu Wenqing asked, "Want me to come up for a glass of water?" Hearing this, Yuan muttered, "Pervert." She dashed inside. Gu Wenqing was about to drive off when Yuan hurried back. Gu Wenqing felt a dizzying tremor. "Really big? Gu Wenqing chuckled. "What, you changed your mind and want me to come up?" Yuan gasped for breath, the movement making her chest dance softly. "No, I forgot to add you on WeChat." After Gu Wenqing accepted her friend request, he drove back to Shanghai University. Yuan returned to her apartment, feeling like she'd been in a dream all day. Not only had someone given her a gift of $130 million, but next month she'd be pulling in over $65 and finally escape poverty. But the best part was meeting the idol she'd been obsessing over, and getting paid for it. Yuan was on top of the world. In a great mood, she posted a selfie and the screenshot of Boy in White on her WeChat. She captioned it, "A day being spoiled by my idol." So happy, that she was soon flooded with likes and comments. but she ignored them all. While driving, Gu Wenqing spotted a familiar figure not far from the road. The military training uniform, plus the yellowed-out white canvas shoes. It had to be Yun Weiwei, always with her head down. Gu Wenqing was afraid she'd walk straight into a lamppost. Yun Weiwei had just finished military training and needed to withdraw some money. Industrial and commercial bank was the only option on campus, but Yun Weiwei used the postal service. Faced with ATM fees, Yun Weiwei had to ask passers-by. After asking directions as she walked alone, she finally found it after walking 8 or 9 kilometers. By the time she withdrew the money, it was already dark. Fewer people were around to ask for directions, and the encroaching night made her feel lost in this unfamiliar city. Feeling a little helpless, she relied on her vague memory and started walking towards the school, step by step. Suddenly, the roar of a sports car's engine cut through the air, and a red Ferrari screeched to a halt in front of her. A familiar head popped out of the window. "Hey, get in!" Yun Weiwei hesitated, then walked to the passenger door, stopping just outside. Gu Wenqing knew she couldn't open the door herself, so he reached over and unlocked it. Still, Yun Weiwei stayed put. Gu Wenqing repeated, "Get in the car." Yun Weiwei said softly, "I just need directions back to school." Gu Wenqing smiled. "I'm heading back to school anyway. I'll give you a ride." Yun Weiwei lowered her head. "I'm dirty." She was covered in sweat from military training, and after walking 5 or 6 miles under the sun, her uniform was a mess. She'd probably stink up his car. Gu Wenqing felt a pang of sympathy for this girl who always put others first. He wondered what she'd been through. Gu Wenqing raised his voice. "Dirty? The dirtiest thing is the human heart. Not people." Hearing this, Yun Weiwei froze for a moment, then carefully slid into the car. Once inside, she sat rigidly, afraid to touch anything. A classmate had told her this car was super expensive, and if she broke something, she couldn't afford to pay for it. As they drove, Gu Wenqing asked, "What's your name?" "Yun Weiwei." Gu Wenqing said sincerely, "That's a beautiful name. It sounds so nice." Yun Weiwei lowered her head and fell silent. "By the way, has that yuan.Gu been bothering you?" No. Gu Wenqing said, "If he does, come to me. Don't be afraid of him." With her head down, Yun Weiwei rummaged in her small bag. After a moment, she pulled out a stack of bills and placed them on the console. "This is $5,000. I'll pay you back the remaining $145 million bit by bit." There was stubbornness in her quiet voice. Gu Wenqing glanced at her worn and faded sneakers. "How much money do you have left?" Yun Weiwei answered honestly, after paying tuition, about $300. Hearing this, Gu Wenqing felt a surge of anger. He spoke more loudly than he intended. "What can you even buy with $300? That's not enough for food. Why don't you take care of yourself first? Why are you so worried about paying me back? Do I look like I need your $5,000? His tone was sharp, almost harsh. Yun Weiwei was startled. Her nose started to sting, and she didn't dare say another word. Gu Wenqing pulled the car over to the side of the road. He suddenly felt the urge to smoke. He wasn't usually a smoker, only occasionally. He took out a cigarette. "Do you mind?" Yun Weiwei shook her head slightly, whispering, "My dad used to smoke around me all the time." Chapter 33 Gene #039, S hostility towards Yun Weiwei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yun Weiwei mumbled, "Smoking's bad for you." "Then quit," Gu Wenqing said, stubbing out his cigarette. "Take the money. Pay me back after you graduate and get a job. And the repair bill is 100, not 1,500. Yuan.Gu is trying to rip you off." "Really?" Seeing Gu Wenqing nod, Yun Weiwei wasn't as down as before. Gu Wenqing definitely wasn't about to tell her the truth about what a Porsche repair actually cost. 1,500 was a lot, and she'd been losing sleep over it. 100 wasn't nothing, but if she worked hard at a part-time job, she could probably pay it off in a semester. Yun Weiwei suddenly felt a spark of hope for the future. "I don't want your money," Yun Weiwei said stubbornly. "Take it," Gu Wenqing said firmly. Yun Weiwei still stubbornly kept her head down. Gu Wenqing knew he had to play hardball. He slammed his hand against the car window. "Fine," You don't want it, I don't want it either. Holding a thick wad of cash, Gu Wenqing stuck his hand out the window, saying in a threatening voice, since nobody wants it, I'll just throw it away. Consider it even. Ah! Yun Weiwei gasped, startled, she waved her hands nervously. No, no, Gu Wenqing sighed, pulled the money back inside, and said firmly, you're taking the money, or I swear I'll do it. Taken aback by his tone, Yun Weiwei was genuinely afraid he'd toss it, so she gripped the money so tightly her knuckles turned white. Gu Wenqing said softly, good girl. Be reasonable. Gu Wenqing started the car and arrived at the school in 10 minutes, Yun Weiwei got out, mumbled a thank you, and headed toward the girls' dorm. Head down, up in the dorm, Jinyu, hanging laundry on the balcony, happened to see Yun Weiwei climbing out of the Ferrari. Back in the bedroom, Gu Wenqing took a shower and felt like a new man. He barely hit the bed when his phone rang with a call from Wang Yanran. Gu Wenqing answered, hey, what's up? I've missed you all day. Why didn't you answer my text? She asked, sounding a little resentful. Gu Wenqing said casually, I was in the shower. Didn't check my phone. Really? Or were you with some other girl? I heard Chen Xiaohua was bringing you water again today. Jealousy alert. Gu Wenqing could practically feel his senior's jealousy radiating through the phone. Gu Wenqing just hung up and immediately video called her. She answered, but it was just a black screen. Gu Wenqing was annoyed. Seriously? You're allowed to see me, but I can't see you. What kind of deal is that? Humph. Not gonna show you. That's what you get for ignoring me this afternoon. Gu Wenqing brushed it off. I was busy this afternoon. Fired the Debon manager and had to interview replacements. Gu Wenqing glossed over the part about running into Yuan. Humph, you pass, his senior said haughtily. Then the black screen was suddenly replaced by a pair of long legs in sexy lace stockings. Damn, Gu Wenqing whistled silently, his eyes glued to the screen. Before he could get a better look, she ended the call. Classic Yanran, all heat, no follow-through. Wait, you fired the manager? Dude, you own Debon Western Restaurant? Huang Zicheng, who'd overheard the call, asked in surprise. Gu Wenqing didn't want to make a big deal out of it, so he said, just helping out with the family business. My family opened a Chinese restaurant right next to Debon. Small world. Huang Zicheng said. Gu Wenqing frowned. Next to Debon. If he remembered correctly, he owned 10 of the 15 storefronts on that block. Small world. He was Huang Zicheng's landlord. Zhou Tao walked in, having just finished his own shower, and asked, what's Debon? Huang Zicheng explained, fancy Western restaurant in the University District. Zhou Tao sighed. Damn, Gu's loaded. My family doesn't own a Western restaurant, and I haven't even tried Western food. Gu Wenqing offered, I'll take you sometime. Chen Xiaohua gave a thumbs up. That's what I like to hear. Zhou Tao grinned and said, guess there are 2 tycoons in our dorm. One owns a Western restaurant, the other a Chinese place. Forget about summer jobs. Meanwhile, over at Magic University, Yun Weiwei stashed the bag with the money under her bed and went to the bathroom to shower. Afterward, she filled a bucket and started scrubbing her dirty clothes. The school had washing machines, but they cost money, $2 a load. To save a few bucks, Yun Weiwei chose to wash by hand. Jinyu, sitting on her bed, asked, where'd you go after military training? Yun Weiwei paused slightly, then said, I had something to take care of. Jinyu pressed, alone? Yun Weiwei nodded. Yeah. Jinyu suddenly snapped, liar. I saw you get out of Gu Wenqing's car. You and Gu Wenqing must have been up to no good. The other 2 girls in the dorm glanced over at Yun Weiwei and Jinyu. Yun Weiwei kept washing her clothes, head down, ignored. Jinyu got angrier. Don't think you can snag someone like Gu Wenqing just because you're pretty. You're not good enough for him, your clothes aren't worth 100, you drink tap water from the cafeteria, always pick the cheapest veggies, can't even afford the washing machine. What makes you think you're worthy of Gu Wenqing? Jinyu, that's enough, He Yuan, the heavier girl, said loudly. Humph, I'm talking to her. Stay out of it, Jinyu snapped, then plugged in her earbuds and turned up the music. Yun Weiwei continued washing her clothes. As if Qin Yu hadn't said a word, the four of them didn't get along that well, mostly because Qin Yu had a nasty temper and complained about everything. Yuan and the other girl didn't like her much either. Lying on her bed, Qin Yu seethed, thinking about Yun Weiwei's beauty, such a waist that God had given Yun Weiwei such a perfect face, *I* should have it. Chapter 34 Girls, Gu Wenqing, Come 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Military training? Nah, I'd rather be home growing sweet potatoes. For Gu Wenqing, military training was pretty much the same as always. He was still getting sparkling water deliveries from his upperclassmen, Wang Yanran, and Chen Xiaohua every day. The first few days, everyone was dragging, but you get used to it, and today, Gu Wenqing was soaking up the envious stares as he snagged 2 more bottles of sparkling water, especially since Chen Xiaohua was rocking different, eye-catching stockings every day. The guys on the field were practically tripping over themselves. Gu Wenqing frowned, thinking, how does Chen Xiaohua know I'm into that? Who ratted me out? Huang Zicheng just rolled his eyes. Hey, Gu, lay off the soda. It'll kill your sperm count. Gu Wenqing laughed it off. Yeah, right. I've got plenty to spare. During a training break, all the different classes clumped together. Then, out of nowhere, some class started a talent show, and everyone was loving it. One girl put on some hot TikTok song. As soon as the beat dropped, she was winking, head bobbing, and twerking like crazy. Even in those baggy camo clothes, you could totally tell she had a killer body. Chen Xiaohua was hyped. Damn. That is smoking hot. Huang Zicheng agreed. Which class is she in? How have I never seen her before? The girl's spicy dance took things to the next level. Guys were whooping and hollering. You could hear people yelling stuff like, damn, she's got a body. College is the best place to find a wife, right? Better than any of those thirst traps on TikTok. Straight fire. Qin Munan was vibing to the music, shaking her hips and not caring about the catcalls. She danced her heart out, but her eyes were glued to Gu Wenqing the whole time. When the song ended, Qin Munan was a little out of breath. And just like that, her name was on everyone's lips at Shanghai University. Her hair was loose, and you could see some sweat on her forehead. Her camo jacket was clinging to her, showing off her figure. The guys were going wild, totally blown away. What's her name? She's gorgeous. Hey, that's Qin Munan from our class. Is she single? Dude, give it a rest. Even if she is, you don't stand a chance. Damn, can't a guy dream? How am I supposed to focus on school now? Hearing all the chatter, Huang Zicheng was practically drooling. She's like, my dream girl. First love vibes. Zhou Tao scoffed. Dude, you've already got Li Wenhuan. Don't be greedy, Huang Zicheng shot back. I can still appreciate a good-looking woman. Besides, old Gu's got a hot upperclassman and a campus queen chasing after him. Can't I have a little crush? Gu Wenqing just sat there, silent. He could feel the tension building. Zhou Tao grimaced. Don't even compare yourself to old Gu. He's hot. Look at you. Huang Zicheng flipped him off. What's wrong with me? You're just jealous, 'cause I'm a handsome Korean-style hottie. Zhou Tao, Chen Xiaohua, and Gu Wenqing just stared at him. It felt like he was insulting handsome Korean guys everywhere. Everyone was cheering for Qin Munan, but Gu Wenqing was just chilling. After dealing with Wang Yanran, he'd seen way bigger storms. This little show didn't even register. Qin Munan, out of breath, kept staring at Gu Wenqing. She'd danced her heart out, and he didn't even seem impressed. She might as well have been the night sky, about as interesting to him. A little frustrated, Qin Munan took a deep breath and called out, Gu Wenqing from economics, get over here. Boom. The crowd went nuts again, especially the girls. The second they heard Gu Wenqing, they were buzzing. Mention Gu Wenqing at Shanghai Metropolitan University, and suddenly everyone's got something to say. Freshmen, sophomores, juniors, even soon-to-be graduates, everyone knows the name. Gu Wenqing. Oh, you mean, the guy who drives the Ferrari, the one who took down 8 guys in that White Knight incident, Senior Wang Yanran and Qin Yunshui, the water delivery queens, are all over him. Oh, right. The hottest guy in Shanghai. Seriously, a lot of girls at Shanghai University might not know their professors' names, but they sure as hell know Gu Wenqing, and when girls get riled up, there's no stopping them. Someone took the lead and called out Gu Wenqing's name, and soon everyone was chanting. The playground was filled with the unified cries of girls. Gu Wenqing, we're waiting. Gu Wenqing from economics, get over here. That the guys joined in, booing and egging him on. The instructor saw the chaos and tried to get everyone to shout some training slogans. Instructor, 1, 2, 3. Everyone, get it done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're losing our minds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're so antsy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are you gonna? Back in the economics section, Zhou Tao was freaking out. Dude! When did you get on Qin Munan's radar, Gu? Huang Zicheng was speechless. Dude, you're public enemy number 1 with every guy on campus right now. Chen Xiaohua was loving it. Huh, old Gu's gonna go up there and sing like a dying animal. The 3 of them were all talking at once. Don't sing. Please don't sing. Faced with the crowd's demands, Gu Wenqing wasn't giving in. Want me to sing? No way. Gu Wenqing stood up and addressed his classmates, shouting. You want me to sing? I'll sing. Sing a song of No. I want to sing, but I won't. What ya gonna do about it? Boo. 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 The crowd was playfully booing him. Everyone was having a blast. Just then, the instructor saw his chance. Other classes have shown their talents. We can't fall behind. Gu Wenqing, you've got girls calling your name. Don't let them down. Chen Xiaohua chimed in. Old Gu, don't sing. Just do some street dance or something. Robot dance, or tell a joke. Chen Xiaohua hadn't forgotten how awful Gu Wenqing's singing was. Zhou Tao agreed. Don't sing. You'll ruin your perfect guy image. Huang Zicheng nodded. Yeah, stick to what you're good at. The guys in Gu Wenqing's dorm looked shocked. Could his singing really be that bad? Word got around to the next class. Some guys who were jealous of Gu Wenqing couldn't wait to see him crash and burn. Chapter 35 Old Gu, let's change your talent. You can't sing pentatonic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's no exaggeration to say that Gu Wenqing owned freshman orientation. He was the one who stood out, plain and simple. He's the one the goddess gave water to. Now even white moonlight seems interested. Seriously. Why does he get all the breaks? He's hogging all the glory. Everyone's dying to see Gu Wenqing screw up. Bet he's gonna choke. Probably doesn't have any real talent. Heard he's a terrible singer. Huh, payback time. Poor guy, this is what happens when you get too famous. Nobody else gets a chance. Chicken. Down in the crowd, guys like yuan.Gu and Chu Bowen, who had beef with Gu Wenqing, were practically giddy. They were ready to jump for joy. Gu Wenqing, your day has come. Embarrass yourself in public, give us some satisfaction. He better bomb. Back with the economics class, Gu Wenqing borrowed a guitar and started fiddling with the sound. His roommates freaked. Dude. Old Gu, you're really gonna sing? Take our advice, okay? Are you seriously gonna ignore that you're tone deaf? We're doomed. He's gonna crash and burn. The 3 of them swarmed him, trying to talk him into switching acts. Gu Wenqing was in the same class as the guys in the next dorm, and they were just as terrified. The walls weren't exactly soundproof. They'd all heard Gu Wenqing's, let's say, unique singing voice, a strangled duck. That's what he sounded like. His voice was horrifying. He's smooth as silk in normal conversation, but turn on the music, and suddenly he's a duck. Guess nobody's perfect. They chimed in. Gu Wenqing, switch your act. Seriously, if you start singing, you'll scare the girls to death. Why are you so set on singing? You don't have the talent, let someone else do it. Gu Wenqing, guitar in hand, listened to everyone's pleas. Was his singing that bad? He frowned, then grinned. Get lost, I'm awesome. Stop spreading lies. Bunch of haters. He wasn't the same guy he used to be. Gu Wenqing glanced at the sound of nature, power up from the system. Sound of nature boosts the host's singing skills, fixes the host's tone deafness, and gives the host the quality of a professional singer. Perfect. Bring it on. Truth be told, Gu Wenqing couldn't play guitar worth a damn. But as long as he sang the 10 Chinese-style songs the system gave him, he was golden. The arrangements and lyrics were burned into his brain. He could sing anything he wanted. Basically, when he sang those songs, he could play any instrument, piano, violin, guitar, even the suona and eru. Meanwhile, the playground was packed. The girls were all waiting for Gu Wenqing. What's taking so long? He's probably chickened out, haha. Look. Gu Wenqing's got a guitar. Wow, he plays guitar. Impressive. So hot. Gu Wenqing took off his hat, revealing a slightly longer haircut, with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, radiating a gentle, elegant vibe. That hairstyle shows a guy's true face. Gu Wenqing, with his cropped hair, was a sight for sore eyes. Not just the girls, even the guys were thinking, damn, he really is handsome. Chen Xiaohua was curious too. He plays guitar. In a small town like Yuyang No. 1 middle school, any guy who could play guitar was king of the school. How had she never heard of a Gu Wenqing, who played guitar in all 3 years of high school? He's faking it, Chu Bowen said, dead certain. Chen Xiaohua frowned, and Chu Bowen's score in her book dropped a notch. Chu Bowen glared at Gu Wenqing, hating him with a passion. First, because Chen Xiaohua, who he liked, seemed to have a crush on the guy. Second, he hated Gu Wenqing for stealing his thunder. Chu Bowen had been Mr. Popular since he was a kid, but now he was just Gu Wenqing's background decoration. How could he not hate him? Facing the breeze, Gu Wenqing walked to the center of the circle. Lots of girls whispered, he looks so hot with a guitar. As Gu Wenqing strummed the strings, the noisy playground went silent. A long, beautiful intro had everyone hooked. It was so smooth, kind of classical. Sweet intro. She'll listen. After the long intro, Gu Wenqing looked toward his hometown. Zhou Tao, Huang Zicheng, and the others were already covering their ears. The intro was nice, sure, but it wouldn't fix old Gu. Childhood pranks, stealing light from others, old memories linger. Remember the bitterness of 10 years of hard work. Now studying under the lamp, beautiful women add fragrance. Half a lifetime of fame is nothing but a dream. All the way in March, orioles sing and grass grows. I saw my hometown in the flying catkins. I wonder if you are still in Luoyang. A strand of blue silk will be treasured for a lifetime. Lovers on the bridge come and go. This song was Luzhou Moon from a parallel universe. In that world, it was called a Chinese-style song, but China had nothing like it. Blessed by Gu Wenqing's newfound voice, clear and pleasing, it had everyone's attention from the first note. Some girls stared at him, hearts fluttering. The lyrics are so poetic. The moonlight played across Gu Wenqing's sharp features, giving him an air of mystery, making the girls even more curious, wanting to know him. Here it comes. The climax was building in Gu Wenqing's mind, and he couldn't help but smile. Luzhou moonlight shines on my heart. Under the moon, you are no longer the same as before. Too much pain to tell my heart. Sigh, it was just common back then. Luzhou moonlight pear blossom rain cool. Who are you with now? The moonlight in my hometown is deeply burned in my heart. But I can't cry back then. Beautiful lyrics, beautiful music, and the singers gorgeous. It pulled everyone into the song of Luzhou Moon. A scholar studies hard for 10 years and gains fame. Later, after experiencing fame and fortune, he returns to his hometown in March. Looking at the couples on the bridge, I think of her in the past. Is she in her hometown, or is she already married as a woman, standing in the place where the lights are the most bleak under the moonlight, looking at my hometown from a distance? I suddenly found that she was no longer her under the moonlight. A song Luzhou Moon, homesickness, and the woman I once loved deeply. Chapter 36 Qin Munan, Gu Wenqing, you really don #039, remember me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luzhou moonlight pear blossom rain cool. Who are you now? The memory of the moonlight from my hometown is burned into my heart. But I can't cry over it now. Gu Wenqing, playing the guitar, looked a little sad. Luzhou is another name for Hefei, Gu Wenqing's hometown. The song, upbeat yet tinged with the sadness of parting, brought tears to many sentimental girls' eyes. It was a truly heartbreaking tune, especially because all kinds of homesickness resonated with them at that moment. Most of them had left their hometowns to study in Shanghai. It was the first time they'd been so far from their parents, and they were feeling incredibly homesick. I really want to go home. I miss my parents. I miss him so much. Girls are always sentimental, finding their own stories in the songs. When the song ended, a hush fell over the crowd. They were still lost in the music. After a while, Zhou Tao blurted out in shock, "Damn! Did old Gu really sing that? Did he get possessed or something?" Chen Xiaohua was stunned. "I can't believe it." Huang Zicheng shook his head. "Looks like we totally underestimated old Gu. Turns out, this is the real deal. Wow!" Suddenly, a roar erupted. A guy from the economics department yelled like crazy. "Gu Wenqing rocks! Gu Wenqing, you're amazing!" Down below, the girls were buzzing. "What's the name of that song? I've never heard it before. I can't even find it online." "The song's called Luzhou Moon. Luzhou is Hefei, my hometown," Gu Wenqing announced. A girl asked curiously, "Gu Wenqing, did you write it?" Gu Wenqing replied, "That's right. After all, it was a song from another universe, and the system had already registered the copyright for him." "Wait, what? He actually wrote it himself? Unbelievable." Hearing Gu Wenqing claim authorship, the girls' eyes lit up, and they showered him with praise. "Wow, Gu Wenqing is so talented. What am I gonna do? Who can resist a guy like that? I'm doomed, I'll never find anyone else now. Meeting Gu Wenqing has ruined me for life." Hearing the girls swooning over Gu Wenqing, the guy who had been outshone couldn't help but think. "Damn it. This kid showed me up again." But what could he do? Gu Wenqing was just on another level, and they were all willing to admit it. He was truly awesome, rich, good-looking, and a singer-songwriter to boot. There was no comparison. None at all. Chen Yinshue's eyes had been glued to Gu Wenqing the whole time, her curiosity growing. After the show, Gu Wenqing turned down a few girls who tried to get his WeChat. He walked back to the dorm with his roommates. "Old Gu, you killed it. Man, you had us worried for nothing." The four of them laughed and talked. "Gu Wenqing, hold up," a female voice called out from behind. Qin Munan was standing under the streetlight by a tree. Gu Wenqing said helplessly, "Go on ahead, guys. I'll catch up later." Huang Zicheng looked envious. "Old Gu, you've got game." Zhou Tao, filled with envy and resentment, said, "Damn, he's got the schools." "It girl," Chen Xiaohua cautioned, "Old Gu, watch out. Don't let things get out of hand." The three clapped Gu Wenqing on the shoulder and headed back to the dorm, green with envy. "I don't think I know you," Gu Wenqing said. Dealing with a senior from Shanghai Metropolitan University and Chen Yinshue was enough of a headache. He really didn't want to get involved with any more girls. The girl under the yellow light had her camo t-shirt tied up, showing off a sliver of her waist and her long legs. "Humph. I just need to know you." The girl pouted. "Okay, we know each other now. I've gotta go." Gu Wenqing waved. Suddenly, Qin Munan darted in front of Gu Wenqing, her face inches from his. "Take a good look. Do you really not remember me?" After studying her face for a moment, Gu Wenqing figured she must have the wrong guy. I really don't know you. Qin Munan looked forlorn as Gu Wenqing walked away. Idiot, jerk. Moron. She hadn't seen him in 7 or 8 years, and he'd already forgotten her. Ding. The host has unlocked a new title, highly anticipated. Reward, a Modu Game Studio. Reward, permanent maxed out looks. Permanent maxed out looks, slows down the host's aging, improves skin, self-confidence, and prevents balding. System, stay up all night. You're welcome. Just like that, a new title unlocked. The game studio was a nice bonus. Those things are money printing machines. A game like Goose Factory brings in billions in revenue per quarter. Gu Wenqing made up his mind, I'll check it out tomorrow. That when Gu Wenqing saw the permanent maxed out looks skill, he was shocked. The system's amazing. Anti-aging and no baldness. Incredible. If there's one thing men fear most, it's going bald. No matter how handsome you are, once you lose your hair, you go straight to a 0, or worse, negative score. When Gu Wenqing got back to the dorm, he rushed to the mirror to see what had changed. His skin looked smoother and rosier, with more elasticity. It was like he had collagen again. Before, staying up late had given Gu Wenqing some acne, but the few blemishes he had were now gone without a trace. With the blessing of eternal beauty, Gu Wenqing's looks had leveled up, but it wasn't too noticeable. After all, he was already incredibly handsome. How much better could he get? Gu Wenqing happily came out of the dorm bathroom. Huang Zicheng was unboxing his new watch. Zhou Tao, who had never seen anything like it, crowded around to take a look. Zhou Tao asked, that packaging is fancy. That watch must have cost a fortune. It's all right. It's just a Longines, Huang Zicheng said, pretending to be casual. Longines is a world-famous brand. It has a long history and is the must-have for successful men. Hee, I've liked this watch for a long time, but it was a little out of my budget. I only bought it after a lot of thought. Huang Zicheng had just bought the watch and wanted to flex in front of everyone. If you buy something so expensive and don't brag about the brand and price, it's a waste of money. Zhou Tao frowned and asked, Longines. I've never heard of it. How does it compare to Wenshuan watches? Huang Zicheng was confused. What's a Wenshuan? Oh, the digital watches they sell in the cafeteria back home. They're pretty expensive, like $30. Huang Zicheng realized he was wasting his breath. His flexing was in vain. Zhou Tao didn't know anything. This old hat, he shouted, don't compare those cheap brands with Longines. It'll cheapen my watch. Chapter 37 Whoever bullies Yun Weiwei, I will make him look good. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Longines for a few $100. No way. That's expensive. Zhou Tao had heard people brag about watches before, throwing around names like Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin, so he remembered those were supposed to be the really pricey ones. Zhou Tao thought for a second, then asked, is your watch more expensive than a Patek Philippe or Vacheron Constantin? Huang Zicheng was internally screaming, what are you even talking about? Vacheron Constantin and Patek Philippe are way higher class than Longines, it's not even close. All he wanted was to flex a little and make everyone jealous. Why was it so hard? Zhou Tao, still looking for validation, spotted Gu Wenqing walking over. Hey, Gu, what do you think of my watch? Huang Zicheng dramatically waved his arm, making his Longines catch the light. Gu Wenqing just stared and said, oh, it's nice. Longines is a good brand for young guys like us. You should get one, too, Gu. Huang Zicheng said, and then immediately glanced at Gu's wrist. Holy crap. His jaw nearly hit the floor. What was that? A Vacheron Constantin. Seriously? Being from Shanghai, Huang Zicheng knew his luxury brands, and what Gu was wearing wasn't just any Vacheron Constantin, platinum with diamonds encrusted all around the case, a baguette-cut diamond, and a concealed diamond setting. He was positive it was the Vacheron Constantin P30630/S22G, 98.99. Worth, like, over $1 million. His roommate was rocking $1 million watch. That was insane. Huang Zicheng had considered buying a Vacheron Constantin himself, but even the cheapest ones were pushing 10 grand. Way over his budget. So, he settled for the Longines at around 3 grand. Huang Zicheng, his voice shaking slightly, asked, "Gu, is that a Vacheron Constantin Malta?" Hearing that, Zhou Tao and Chen Xiaohua also looked over. They'd both heard the name Vacheron Constantin before. "Nice watch, Gu." The Vacheron Constantin's diamonds were throwing off serious bling under the light. Chen Xiaohua was stunned. Zhou Tao, full of curiosity, asked, "Gu, how much did you drop on that thing? If it's a bargain, I might get one myself." Before Gu Wenqing could answer, Huang Zicheng jumped in. "You're going to buy one? You're dreaming. Do you even know what a Vacheron Constantin Malta costs? $1 million, $1 million. Neither Chen Xiaohua nor Zhou Tao could believe their ears. No way. $1 million watch. How could something so tiny cost that much? Gu, did you really pay over $1 million for that? Zhou Tao asked, his voice barely a whisper. Gu Wenqing just said, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Unbelievable." Gu was seriously wearing $1 million watch. What did that even mean? $1 million could buy a decent apartment in downtown Shanghai, where real estate was insane. $1 million could buy 2 Ferraris. $1 million would set a regular person up for life. That wasn't just a watch on Gu Wenqing's wrist, it was a luxury condo in the city. Huang Zicheng was staring at the Vacheron Constantin Malta, speechless. He was so conflicted. He'd just been telling Gu to get a Longines, and Gu was over here casually sporting $1 million Vacheron Constantin. He'd been ready to show off his $3,000 Longines in the dorm. But his roommate was rocking a watch that cost 10 times that. If he showed off his Longines now, it would be like bringing a butter knife to a gun fight. In that moment, Huang Zicheng had a strange feeling. Compared to Gu Wenqing, even though he was from Shanghai, he felt like he was from the sticks, and Gu Wenqing was like someone from freakin' Manhattan. Everything he had, $1 million watch, $1 million license plate, and Ferraris were all things Huang Zicheng could only dream of. Gu Wenqing was lying on his bed, chatting online with Wang Yanran, senior sister. "Hey, I saw your singing video on Xiaomi." "Oh yeah? What did you think?" "It was great. You're so talented. I like you more and more." "Gu Wenqing, I like you, too. What do you like about me?" "Gu Wenqing. Those long, silky legs." Wang Yanran, besides those, can you like me for something else? Oh. I also like when you're not wearing anything at all." Oh. The next morning. After Gu Wenqing and Zhou Tao got ready, they headed to the cafeteria for breakfast. To get to cafeteria number 1, they had to walk past the girls' dorm. "Hey, look, Gu, it's that girl who brought you water the other day. She looks like she's crying." Zhou Tao, with his eagle eyes, was the first to spot Yun Weiwei and announced it loudly. Yun Weiwei was sitting on the steps by the side of the road, her head buried in her arms, sobbing softly, her shoulders shaking. Seeing this, Gu Wenqing was furious. Had someone messed with her? Who would be cruel enough to hurt such a sweet and innocent girl? Gu Wenqing hurried over and asked, "Yun Weiwei, did Li yuan.Gu cause you trouble?" Yun Weiwei, tears streaming down her face, said, No. Seeing Gu Wenqing, she completely broke down. Leaning against his shoulder, she burst into loud sobs. Her tears soaked her black hair, her pretty face was wet with tears. Guys walking by stopped and stared in awe. She looked like a damsel in distress. "Who is that beautiful girl crying? She's stunning. Even prettier than Chen Xiaohua. What the hell? Gu Wenqing must have made her cry." Gu Wenqing is playing with her feelings. The guys behind them hadn't seen what happened. They assumed Gu Wenqing had bullied Yun Weiwei. They angrily gathered a short distance away. One of them shouted, "Gu Wenqing, you're a man. Bullying women is low. If you don't explain what happened, we're going to the dean. Don't cry, we'll get you justice." They were all yelling and posturing. Gu Wenqing yelled, "Shut up, you idiots. Quiet, all of you." The air instantly went cold. Everyone was stunned by Gu Wenqing's outburst. He was usually so polite and calm, but now he was filled with rage. He looked like a rabid dog ready to bite. Then, Gu Wenqing gently brushed away the tears on Yun Weiwei's face. He said softly, "Don't cry. You look sad when you cry. Don't worry, whoever hurt you will pay." Chapter 38. Regardless of gender, if you make a mistake, you should be beaten. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At that moment, a heavier girl from the crowd stepped forward. "Weiwei's money is missing from under her bed," she said. "We searched the whole dorm, but it's gone." Gu Wenqing's annoyance deepened. Yun Weiwei lost the $5,000 she withdrew yesterday. He knew what that kind of money meant to her. For some college students, $5,000 might just cover living expenses for a month or two. It would suck to lose it, but they could probably ask their family for more. But for Yun Weiwei, who walked 5 miles to the bank just to save a few bucks on fees, $5,000 might represent a whole semester, a year's worth of expenses, or even her entire college fund. Gu Wenqing glanced at Yun Weiwei's worn-out sneakers. He frowned. "Did anyone else go into your dorm today?" Yuan shook her head. "So, it had to be someone inside," Gu Wenqing said. "I want you to go talk to the other 2 girls. If I have anything to say about it, we're finding the thief today, even if I have to turn the place upside down." If it wasn't an outsider, finding the culprit shouldn't be too hard. There were only 4 of them in the dorm. Take away Yun Weiwei who lost her money, there were only 3 people. Meanwhile, over on the school's athletic fields, Jin Yu was sitting around with a guy who would do anything for her, waiting for military training to start. "I want to buy an Apple 13 Pro Max, and I'm still $1,000 short," Jin Yu said. "Can you lend me the grand? Didn't you say yesterday that you were $6,000 short?" Jin Yu didn't bat an eye. "Oh, my family gave me $5,000. Before her lapdog could even respond, Jin Yu saw Gu Wenqing leading a group of people in their direction. When she spotted Yun Weiwei bringing up the rear, she paled. But she plastered a calm expression on her face. Gu Wenqing stood silently on the field, waiting. Jin Yu, already feeling guilty, started to unravel. Soon, the other dorm girl, Yang Lihua, showed up, too. "Let's go find a place to talk," Gu Wenqing said. Even though he was angry, he didn't want to make a scene. His plan was to find a quiet spot and talk to the people involved. "I'm not going anywhere," Jin Yu said. Gu Wenqing kept his cool. "I don't want to blow this up." That's when Jin Yu's would-be boyfriend yelled, "What do you think you're doing?" The guy got up and blocked Gu Wenqing, preventing him from taking Jin Yu. Gu Wenqing said patiently, "It's nothing, just a little problem." "Who do you think you are, huh? You can't just order her around. You're nobody." The lapdog yelled. "If you try to force Jin Yu today, you're gonna have to deal with me." He was trying to act tough in front of Jin Yu. She had mentioned before that she liked guys who made her feel safe. That's when Gu Wenqing lost it. "Deal with you? Who do you think you are? I could take on 8 of you in a fight. And money-wise? I could cash out my bank account and wipe you off the face of the earth. I'm telling you again, get out of the way." The guy suddenly realized that he was talking to Gu Wenqing. The guy was famous around town. He drove a multi-million-dollar luxury car, and his license plate was worth a fortune. The lapdog suddenly felt weak. He wasn't as strong as Gu Wenqing, and he sure wasn't as rich. All he could do was talk tough. Gu Wenqing shot him a look. The guy shut his mouth. Gu Wenqing took the 4 girls from Yun Weiwei's dorm and left. In the empty stairwell, Gu Wenqing turned to Zhou Tao. "Take Yun Weiwei and go on to military training." Zhou Tao nodded. He and the other 2 girls headed to the athletic fields. Now, only Gu Wenqing, Yuan, Jin Yu, and Yang Lihua were left in the stairwell. "To make a long story short, you all know why I brought you here. The person who stole Yun Weiwei's $5,000 is one of you 3. I hope whoever did it will fess up right now." Gu Wenqing looked at them calmly. Jin Yu scoffed. "What makes you so sure it was one of us? Maybe Yun Weiwei is lying. Maybe she never lost any money at all. You don't know Yun Weiwei. She's so cheap, she eats plain rice and vegetables with water in the cafeteria every day." she washes her clothes by hand to save $1 or $2 on laundry, and her clothes and shoes are so old, they're practically falling apart. Do you really think someone like that can afford $5,000? She's trying to set us up. She's just jealous because we're doing better than her. Asterisk smack, star, the sound echoed in the stairwell. Shut your mouth. Jin Yu covered her face, in shock that Gu Wenqing, who always seemed so nice, would hit a woman. What gives you the right to look down on Yun Weiwei? Gu Wenqing glared at her. Stop spouting that garbage, or I might just slap you again. Jin Yu started to cry. How could you hit a woman? Gu Wenqing frowned. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you're wrong, you deserve to be punished. He already had his suspicions. There was a strong chance that Jin Yu was the thief, but he needed evidence. The dorm was so small, and there was always someone around. He didn't believe Jin Yu could have stolen the money without being seen. Okay, here's the deal. If anyone tells me who the thief is, I'll give them $5,000 as a reward, Gu Wenqing said slowly. Yuan shook her head, saying she didn't know anything. Gu Wenqing looked at the other two. 10,000. 30,000. 50,000. Gu Wenqing continued. Whoever gives up the culprit gets $50,000 immediately. I think you know that I'm good for it. Jin Yu was starting to panic. She shot a warning look at Yang Lihua, who was about to say something. Yang Lihua got so scared that she lost the nerve to speak. Jin Yu's family was local, and her brother was mixed up with some shady characters. Before school started, he and a few of his tattooed buddies had a talk with them, and Yang Lihua had seen it happen. Yang Lihua had always been a good kid. She was terrified of those guys. Gu Wenqing snarled, stop staring her down. Then he turned to Yang Lihua. Don't be scared. I promise she won't do anything to you. Just say the word, and $50,000 is yours, no questions asked. $50,000. That was like her dad's income for half a year. How could she not be tempted? But she was also terrified of Jin Yu's revenge. Her heart was pounding. Half a year's pay. She took a deep breath. She knew what she had to do. Chapter 39. Gu Wenqing, Chen Xiaohua, I almost vomited from the sparkling water you gave me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. $5 isn't pocket change. She could buy stuff she'd been wanting, like a phone or even a computer. Yang Li, distracted, blurted out. Jin Yu swiped it. I saw her take Weiwei's bag from under the bed this morning while they were washing up. Jin Yu exploded. That's a lie. Having burned her bridges, Yang Lihua doubled down. She stuffed the money in her military training pants. Gu Wenqing glanced down. Jin Yu's right pocket was bulging. It had to be the money. Exposed. Jin Yu burst into tears and sank to the ground. Gu Wenqing said, take it out. I'll give you a break this time. We'll keep this quiet. You're forgiven, this once. His tone shifted, turning hard. But if you ever mess with Yun Weiwei again, I swear the whole school will know you're a thief, and Shanghai University will kick you out. So, watch yourself. Jin Yu visibly relaxed, even feeling a flicker of gratitude towards Gu Wenqing. He hadn't gone for the kill, and she could still finish her degree, even if she wasn't expelled. Everyone knowing she stole money would be social suicide. Gu Wenqing kept his word, Venmoing 5 yuan to Yang Lihua and ordering both her and Yuan to keep Jin Yu's theft a secret. And don't tell Yun Weiwei I spent $5 either. It wasn't about the money. He was giving Jin Yu a chance to redeem herself. People screw up. Maybe she could turn things around. Right then, Yang Lihua and Yuan were seriously impressed with Gu Wenqing. He'd smacked her down, then offered a way out. Jin Yu would probably be kissing his feet after being put in her place. He was playing the game like a pro, mature beyond his years. Weiwei was so lucky to have him in her corner. They were suddenly jealous of her. As for exchanging 5 yuan for 5,000, they didn't think he was an idiot. They saw it as a grand gesture, like he was spoiling Yun Weiwei rotten. He'd pay 10 times the price just to get her money back, straight out of a romance novel. Swoon-worthy. Gu Wenqing left with the money, heading to military training. $5 was nothing to him. he'd drop hundreds of thousands on a meal without batting an eye, so 5 yuan was a joke. He could have just withdrawn 5,000 yuan for Yun Weiwei and told her he found the money. She was naive enough to buy it. But Gu Wenqing didn't want to do that. First, if he didn't deal with the source of the problem. What if she kept getting ripped off? Second, he didn't want to lie to her. She was too innocent. Gu Wenqing rushed, but he was still late for training. Gu Wenqing, the instructor's voice boomed, Gu Wenqing, here. 10 minutes late. That's a violation. 10 laps around the field. Shit, Gu Wenqing thought. The instructor pressed. Any objections? Gu Wenqing winked at Yun Weiwei in the crowd and yelled, no, sir. On the stifling field, Gu Wenqing pounded the track in his uniform, soaked in sweat. Yun Weiwei watched from the ranks, her throat tight. Why was he being so good to her? Finally, the instructor blew the whistle, and the freshman collapsed on the ground, gasping for air, but Gu Wenqing was still circling the field. Chu Bachan took a swig of water and snickered to the guys next to him. Serves him right, showing up late. Seeing Gu Wenqing in trouble brightened his day. Always hogging the spotlight. Good to see him get knocked down a peg. 10 laps. He'll die. Huh, look at him run. A few others chimed in with jeers. They've been itching to take Gu Wenqing down a peg for ages. Chen Xiaohua, the hottest girl in their class, was always handing him sparkling water. They were green with envy. They were loving his punishment. The girls in the class, however, were scowling. A few of them spoke up, voices sharp. What's wrong with you guys? You don't even know what happened. Why are you talking trash? Gu Wenqing was late because he was helping a girl find her money. He's doing something nice. What are you even laughing about? Yeah, you wouldn't understand romance if it hit you in the face. Ugh, why is Gu Wenqing so sweet? All they know how to do is gloat. If looks could kill, Chu Bachan and his crew would have been vaporized on the spot. They were mortified, saying a few bad things about Gu Wenqing had turned them into the villains. They wanted to cry, but they were all choked up. Why were these girls so fierce? After 10 laps, Gu Wenqing was dripping. His undershirt clung to him, and the camo top showed the outline of his abs. All eyes were on him. He walked up to Yun Weiwei, shoved the money into her bag, and headed off. Huang Zicheng walked over, giving him a thumbs up. Respect, bro. Zhou Tao joined them. Why didn't you tell the instructor what happened? He might have cut you some slack. You know what's up. Some people don't like being the center of attention. Gu Wenqing replied. Yun Weiwei was insecure and shy. She always kept her head down, hiding behind her hair. Being singled out in front of everyone would have freaked her out. Nearby, Yun Weiwei watched Gu Wenqing flop onto the ground, sprawled out like a starfish. After a long hesitation, she found the courage to bring him water, but then another girl appeared, polished and pretty, offering him sparkling water with a bright smile. Yun Weiwei stared down at her own plain water bottle, a wave of disappointment washing over her. Chen Xiaohua stood in front of Gu Wenqing as he drank. Can you switch to sparkling water? Gu Wenqing asked, his brow furrowed. Every day it was orange flavor. He was about to puke. The guys on the field wanted to murder him. The school's hottest girl was hand-delivering water, and he was complaining about the flavor. They wanted to strangle him. If the school bell brought them water, they'd be ecstatic. Instead, here was Gu Wenqing, being all picky and putting on a show. Chapter 40 bought the 3 Porsche Cayenne. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Military training. Over. Gu Wenqing's phone buzzed with a call. Weird number, he answered. A woman's voice chirped. Hi, Mr. Gu, this is the Porsche dealership calling. Your custom Cayenne is here. When would you like to pick it up? Right. The system's Porsche reward. I'm on my way, Gu Wenqing said. He'd almost forgotten about the Cayenne. Gu Wenqing dialed Wang Yanran. You free, senior? Wang Yanran giggled. For you. I'm always free. Cool. Wanna go for a ride? Gu Wenqing hopped in his red Ferrari and parked out front of the girls' dorm. A few minutes later, Wang Yanran emerged. In the passenger seat, Wang Yanran sported a one-shoulder denim jacket, showing off her fair skin. A matching denim skirt highlighted her legs, ending just above white socks tucked into Air Force Ones. Her makeup was the same sultry sweet style he loved, like a perfect apple, begging for a bite. At a red light, Gu Wenqing's hand landed on Wang Yanran's thigh. She blushed. "Hey, cut it out." Gu Wenqing smirked. "Don't be shy. We've, gotten to know each other pretty well, remember?" "Humph." Wang Yanran bit her lip, glancing at Gu Wenqing, but didn't protest. After a bit, Gu Wenqing asked, "No stockings today?" "Yes, I am." "Look." Wang Yanran raised her leg, revealing the top of her white socks. "Those don't count," Gu Wenqing said, and lifted the denim skirt. "Black leggings, seriously? What happened to trust? Who invented leggings anyway? Pervert." Wang Yanran knew his type. He loved to tease her. Gu Wenqing squeezed her thigh a few more times before letting go. He punched the Porsche dealership address into the GPS, and soon they arrived. As they walked in, they overheard a guy's voice. "What do you mean, there aren't any?" "There's one sitting right there, I hate waiting." "I'll take the red Cayenne." "Swipe my card." Lu Yangwei had his arm around a girl, gesturing at the red Porsche Cayenne. A salesman hurried over. "Sir, that one's reserved, it's already been paid for. We have other Porsches ready to go." Lu Yangwei's expression clouded. The girl in his arms whined, "Away, I want the Cayenne." Nothing else. He gazed at her, soaking in her clinginess. He'd only known her a few months, and she was proving harder to crack than most. He'd figured a Porsche might seal the deal. Of course, Lu Yangwei wasn't an idiot. He'd register the car in his name, with his insurance. The Cayenne was just a temporary treat. When he was done with her, he'd dump her and keep the car. No harm done. He was tired of waiting. He knew tonight was his best chance. If he blew it, who knew how long it'd take to get another shot? He scowled and said loudly, "My dad knows your boss, Mr. Su. Don't be difficult, swipe the card. I'm taking this car." He thrust his card at the salesman. The girl whispered, "Away, you're so bossy." Lu Yangwei smirked. "You ain't seen nothin' yet." She giggled. "Oh, stop." Looking at her, Lu Yangwei could barely wait. The saleswoman stood there, looking conflicted. "Well? What are you waiting for? One call and you're fired." Lu Yangwei yelled at the woman. What was her problem? Was she deaf? He continued, "The original owner should be honored. I'm even considering buying his Porsche." The other salespeople kept their distance. Lu Yangwei's connections were untouchable. The saleswoman was close to tears. She was just following procedure. "Looks like someone forgot to put you on a leash." Gu Wenqing stepped forward, disgust etched on his face. With guys like this, he didn't bother with manners. He heard the rich guy, he would just beat him with a mallet and he's done. "Who the hell are you?" Lu Yangwei snapped. His eyes landed on Wang Yanran, and a flicker of lust crossed his face. She was gorgeous. What a contrast. The girl in my arms is trash. The appearance is like a sky, a ground, not a level at all. The girl in his arms is not worthy of being compared with Wang Yanran. You said it was an honor to buy my car. Now that I'm here, what kind of honor are we talking about? Gu Wenqing said coldly. He heard he was the owner of a Porsche Cayenne, and the other party has such a beautiful girl, so she has some energy. Lu Yangwei paused, his arrogance fading. "I'll pay $1 more than the asking price." "How's that?" Gu Wenqing snorted. "Are you for real? My Porsche cost $3 million. I need your dollar." Wang Yanran giggled. Even the Porsche salespeople couldn't help but smile. What a joke. Someone who can afford a $3 million Porsche isn't sweating a single dollar. I spent $300 million, and I still care about 1 yuan in change. Lu Yangwei was really silly and cute. "I don't care. I want the red Porsche," the girl said, blowing in Lu Yangwei's ear. Lu Yangwei saluted directly.